Here's the cold, hard truth. A power outage isn't just about fumbling around in the dark or lighting a few candles. It's not some minor inconvenience you can shrug off. No, it's the first crack in the dam, the first domino to fall, and when it does, the world as you know it grinds to a halt. Think about it. The moment the lights go out, whether it's a freak storm, a cyber attack, a grid failure, or something far worse, everything you rely on vanishes. Everything you rely on vanishes. Your fridge? Just a box of soon-to-be spoiled food. The internet? Gone. Your heater in the dead of winter, or your AC in a blistering heat wave? Completely useless. And that's when it hits you. Survival isn't just a concept anymore. It's your reality. And here's the scariest part. Most people aren't ready. They freeze, they panic, they make mistakes. And in a crisis, mistakes can cost you everything. But it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to be one of the unprepared masses scrambling in the chaos. The people who make it through, they're not lucky, they're not guessing, they're ready. They've thought about this moment long before it arrived. They've planned, practiced, and prepared. When the grid collapses, they don't panic, they act. They know exactly what to do, and they do it without hesitation. So, what's their secret? What separates the calm from the chaos? It's not 100 complicated steps or a library of survival guides. It's 7 rules. 7 simple life-saving rules that can mean the difference between control and catastrophe. In the first few minutes of a blackout, these rules will guide you. And if the outage stretches into days or even weeks, they'll keep you alive, keep your family safe, and keep you from becoming part of the chaos. The grid may be fragile, but your survival doesn't have to be. Survival Rule 1. Light first, then secure your space. When the power goes out, it doesn't just get dark, it gets dangerous. Darkness has a way of twisting reality, making familiar spaces treacherous and the unknown even more menacing. Unprepared, the sudden loss of light can thrust you into a chaotic spiral before you even realize what's happening. Stubbed toes and bruised shins are just the beginning. The real risks lurk in confusion, panic, and vulnerability. This is why Rule 1 is the bedrock of survival during a blackout. Establish light first, regain control, and secure your space. Anything less, you're inviting trouble. The nightmare of sudden darkness. Imagine it. A complete, unexpected blackout plunges your home into pitch black. Can you see the coffee table 2 steps away? Is your phone within reach? And what about the sound? That creak upstairs. Is it just settling wood? Or has someone entered your home under the cover of darkness? And if you can't see, you can't act. And if you can't act, you shred precious moments that could mean the difference between safety and chaos. Human instinct needs light to function under stress. Without it, fear takes hold. People fall, injuries happen. Worse, thieves or opportunists might see your lack of response as an open door. Darkness strips you of power, literal and psychological. Regaining that power begins the moment you light up your surroundings. Prep like a survivor, not a victim. Fumbling with a drawer flashlight. That's the classic mental image most people envision for a blackout. Don't be that person. Survivors don't scramble in the dark, they dominate it. Smart preparation starts with redundancy. You never want just one flashlight as your only option. Instead, think layers of preparedness. 1. Flashlights everywhere. Position high-quality flashlights in multiple locations throughout your home. Don't hide them in drawers. Leave them within arm's reach in hallways, bedrooms, bathrooms, and the kitchen. Emergency happens fast. Your access to light needs to be faster. 2. Headlamps for hands-free power. One of the most underrated tools during a blackout is the headlamp. While flashlights are great, headlamps free up your hands to handle tasks like locking doors, grabbing supplies, or calming a terrified family member. Keep one per person in your household and always have fresh batteries nearby. 3. Lights that charge themselves. Solar-powered LED strips and lanterns are game changers. They charge during daylight hours and activate automatically when darkness falls. Think about the psychological edge of a house that softly glows from within while the rest of the neighborhood sits in eerie silence. That glow says, "We are prepared." 4. Glow sticks for immediate action. Glow sticks can bridge the gap before someone grabs a flashlight or when devices run low on batteries. Toss a few activated sticks into a room for ambient light that eliminates blind stumbling. They're cheap, effective, and last for hours. 5. Candles and lanterns. The last resort. While they give off comforting light, candles come with serious risks. An open flame in a high-stress situation, especially around kids or pets, can become another disaster waiting to happen. Use flameless lanterns or LED candles as alternatives whenever possible. Light equals control. Once you've illuminated your space, everything changes, mentally and physically. You're no longer a victim of the dark. You're a leader taking charge of the situation. Immediate light allows you to 1. Check for hazards, fallen objects, sharp corners, tripping risks. 2. Guide your family to a central location. 3. Access your emergency kit or communication tools without guessing. But illumination is only half the battle. Rule 1's second phase, securing your space, is where true survival instincts come into play. Lock down the threats you can't see. Darkness isn't just an inconvenience, it's an invitation. Whether it's opportunistic looters, frightened neighbors, or wild animals, the night brings risks you can't anticipate. That's why, once your lights are on, your next move must be locking down every potential vulnerability. 1. Secure entry points. Start with your doors and windows. Deadbolts, padlocks, and chain locks should be fastened. For sliding doors or windows, add physical barriers like wooden dowels in the tracks to prevent them from being forced open. Pay special attention to garage doors, basement entries, and attic hatches. These are easy overlooks for those who aren't planning ahead. 2. Hide in plain sight. Visibility is a double-edged sword. While light inside your home gives you control, visibility from the street makes you a target. Draw your curtains or blinds immediately to prevent outsiders from scoping your supplies or vulnerable entry points. 3. Rely on manual security. Automated systems like electric locks or alarm systems might be useless in a blackout. Backup measures, simple as wedges under doors or reinforced barricades, ensure you're still in control even when your tech isn't. 4. Rally to a safe zone. Finally, gather everyone in a central, easily defensible location within the house, preferably stocked with your emergency supplies. This reduces the chaos of being scattered and makes it far easier to stay secure if the situation escalates. Survival Rule 2. Securing and stretching your water supply. When the power goes out, most people imagine the worst-case scenarios unfolding like robbery or hunger. But there's an even bigger villain lurking in the shadows, a silent killer called dehydration. Without access to a reliable water source, your chances of surviving for long diminish rapidly. This isn't just about thirst, it's about keeping your body functioning under duress. If you don't act immediately to secure and stretch your water supply during a blackout, you'll be fighting Mother Nature on a battlefield that you're doomed to lose. Here's how to ensure that you don't run dry when it matters the most. The clock is ticking. The moment the power fails, so does the infrastructure behind your tap. Without electricity pumping through the veins of water systems, pressure drops and flow ceases. If the outage lasts more than a few hours, your faucet may start coughing out air instead of the life-giving liquid that was so easily available moments ago. The scary part? Most people don't think about water until it's too late. By then, panic sets in, and desperate scavenging takes over. You don't want to reach that stage. Water isn't a luxury during a blackout. It's survival. Step 1. Capture everything you can. When the lights fade and silence takes hold, every second matters. Don't wait to see how things go. Assume the worst and act fast. Your first step in a blackout is to secure every drop of water currently accessible in your home before it's gone. Fill every sink, bathtub, bucket, pot, pitcher, anything that can hold liquid. Time is your enemy here. Even a 10-minute delay could mean the difference between security and scarcity. Don't forget the hidden reservoirs of water that most people overlook. 1. Toilet tanks, not bowls. If they're chemical-free, this water can be purified and used in emergencies. 2. Hot water heaters. These often hold 30-50 gallons of drinkable water. You'll need a wrench to access the drain valve, so keep one handy. 3. Ice cubes. Yes, melted ice counts. Collect the cubes from your freezer and keep them in a clean container to thaw. Think of this as your baseline reserve. These gallons will serve as your immediate buffer while you focus on stretching and replenishing your supply. Step 2. Purification. Is survival once your immediate reserves are secured. Your next priority is ensuring that any additional water you collect is safe to drink. Blackouts often create a domino effect of failures across city services, including water treatment plants. This means that even if water continues to flow from your tap or nearby sources, it might carry bacteria, viruses, or contaminants that could make you seriously ill. Your ultimate weapon here is purification. Stock up on a combination of tools and methods. 1. Water filters. Hand pump filters or portable straw filters can remove most bacteria and protozoa from natural water sources. 2. Purification tablets. Iodine or chlorine dioxide tablets are lightweight and effective for disinfecting small batches of water. 3. Boiling. If you have a safe, alternative heat source like propane, a camp stove, or even a wood fire, bring water to a full rolling boil for at least 1 minute to kill most pathogens. The key is redundancy. Never rely on just one method. Step 3. Finding water in unconventional places. If your reserves begin to dwindle, you'll need to source water from unexpected places. Rainwater is your best bet if the conditions permit. Set up outdoor collection systems using tarps, buckets, or rain barrels. Even tied-off plastic sheets suspended at an angle can funnel rain into a container. And while it might sound unpleasant, water from streams, ponds, or even puddles can be collected and purified in extreme emergencies. Keeping a small net or mesh cloth for straining debris from such sources is wise. Another untapped resource? The moisture in canned goods. Every ounce matters, so don't throw out the liquid from beans, fruit, or vegetables. It may not taste great, but it's hydration. Step 4. Conservation is key. Now for the hard part. Making what you have last. The average person needs at least a gallon of water per day for drinking, cooking, and basic hygiene. During a blackout, you'll need to cut that figure significantly to stretch your stockpile. Here's how you conserve. 1. Rearise drinking water first. Plan meals requiring minimal or no water to cook. 2. Replace full-body showers with sponge baths to minimize waste. 3. Designate specific containers for drinking water and prevent cross-contamination by labeling them clearly. Teach everyone in your household to treat water like liquid gold. The more disciplined you are, the longer you'll survive. Survival Rule 3. Locking down food and cooking without power. When the lights go out, your fridge transforms into a countdown clock, ticking toward catastrophe. No hum of electricity means no preservation, and the contents of your refrigerator are on borrowed time. Spoiling food doesn't just waste precious resources, it's a direct threat to survival. The dangers don't stop there. With no power for cooking, you'll face the unnerving realization that your well-stocked pantry might still leave you helpless if you can't prepare its contents. Rule 3 isn't just about keeping bellyaches at bay. It's about maintaining control when the world plunges into chaos. To stay alive during a blackout, you need to lock down your food strategy and master cooking without the grid. The silent killer in your fridge. Picture this. Night falls and the power has been out for hours. The fridge door creaks open, a flashlight beam illuminating day-old leftovers and once-frozen meat glossy with condensation. That faint smell? It's the early stages of spoilage. Food doesn't start rotting in days, it begins the moment the fridge temperature rises above 40 dF. By the 4-hour mark, you're flirting with danger. And by 24 hours, most perishables are downright lethal. Start your food lockdown with triage. Assess what's in your fridge and freezer immediately because every second matters. First, prioritize perishables with the shortest shelf lives like dairy, cooked meat, and soft fruits. If you have ice packs or coolers, transfer these items to extend their lifespan by a few more hours. Next, focus on your freezer. Keep the door sealed tight. This simple move can preserve frozen food for up to 48 hours if untouched. However, if things start to thaw, be ready to cook it immediately before it's too late. Remember, once food spoils, there is no saving it. Cans and pantries become your redoubt. Once your fridge becomes a hazard zone, shelf-stable foods emerge as your secret weapon. Canned goods, dehydrated meals, and freeze-dried packets are no longer conveniences, they're lifelines. Start by organizing them now, while you still have light and clarity. Group foods by type, proteins, carbs, and vegetables, to quickly grab what you need when time is tight. Canned fish, beans, soups, stews. These are your MVPs for protein and sustenance. Yes, it's survival fare, but you'll find comfort knowing they're safe to consume even in the absence of modern preservation. Don't forget bulk staples like rice, pasta, and oatmeal. While they require cooking, their shelf lives are formidable, making them invaluable during extended outages. Store these essentials in airtight containers to prevent contamination from pests or moisture. Pro tip: stock familiar foods. Stress levels skyrocket in emergencies, and comfort foods can have the psychological power to calm your group. That favorite can of chili or those crackers your kids love will feel like luxuries over time. Cooking when the stove is just for show. Realizing you can't use your electric stove is the moment survival becomes tactical. This is where alternative cooking methods come into play. But they aren't intuitive unless you prepare in advance. The key is knowing your tools and keeping fuel sources ready. 1. Portable propane stoves. These are lifesavers for quick, efficient cooking in blackouts, provided you use them safely. Outside, propane burns clean but emits carbon monoxide, so never risk cooking indoors with one. This method can boil water, fry meat, or reheat canned goods in record time. 2. Rocket stoves. Compact and efficient rocket stoves use sticks, twigs, and kindling as fuel. They're perfect for boiling pasta or simmering soups when propane runs low. Best of all, they're portable and easy to store. 3. Solar ovens. They're often seen as luxury prepper gear, but solar ovens can be game changers, especially during sunny days. They don't require fuel and can bake or roast meals at surprisingly high temps, albeit slower than conventional methods. With patience, you can even bake bread. 4. Firefighter cooking. Start learning the art of controlled fire cooking if your home and environment allow it. Cast iron pans and Dutch ovens perform beautifully over open flames. Just ensure you have a safe outdoor area to work. Food safety for survival. Cooking without power presents more than logistical challenges. It's also a slippery slope for food safety. Always err on the side of caution. If something smells off, feels slimy, or has been exposed to questionable temperatures for too long, toss it. You can't afford food poisoning during a crisis. Without proper treatment, it can quickly escalate from discomfort to a life-threatening situation. Use a manual can opener to avoid wrestling with cans during stressful conditions. If canned food looks bloated or leaks upon opening, don't consume it. Botulism is a very real danger. Similarly, always heat canned goods that contain meat or dairy, as reheating can kill lingering bacteria. Survival Rule 4. Mastering temperature control to outsmart the elements. When the power goes out, the stakes rise dramatically, especially when temperatures hit brutal extremes. Whether you're shivering in a teeth-chattering cold snap or gasping through an unbearable heat wave, nature doesn't grant you a grace period. You must take control of your environment immediately, or the elements will take control of you. Without adequate preparation, the cold can claim you quietly, and the heat can overwhelm you before you realize the danger. Mastering temperature control is not just a convenience, it's survival. Facing the silent killer of cold. The cold is deceptive. It doesn't announce itself with a roar. Instead, it creeps up on you, stealing your body heat little by little until hypothermia wraps its icy grip around you. The danger is real, immediate, and insidious, but there are ways to fight back. Create a heat zone. Forget about heating your entire house during a winter blackout. That's a waste of energy and could spell disaster. Instead, focus on creating a single heat zone. Pick the smallest, most insulated room you have. This will be your survival chamber. Block off doorways and windows with heavy blankets, plastic sheeting, or even tarps. Duct tape is your new best friend. Use it to seal gaps where heat might escape. The goal here is to trap every bit of warmth your body or makeshift heating sources generate. Layer up for life. When it's frigid, thinking warm isn't enough. You need to act warm. Start by layering your clothing. Wear multiple sets of shirts, pants, and socks. Insulate your extremities with gloves and thick socks, as fingers and toes lose heat fast. Don't underestimate accessories. A hat can prevent significant heat loss from your head. If you have thermal or mylar blankets, wrap yourself tightly. These lightweight lifesavers are built to reflect your body heat back to you. The closer you mimic a heat cocoon, the better your chances of survival. Heat hacking for survival. When body heat alone won't cut it, you can cheat the game. Heat water over a propane stove if it's safe to do so, or use a fire to warm bricks or stones. Once heated, wrap these items in cloth to prevent burns. Then place them in your insulated heat zone, or even directly under your blankets. They'll radiate warmth for hours. Remember, body heat isn't just a resource. It's a strategy. Huddle together with family members or pets under layers of insulation. Shared warmth can keep temperatures in your zone tolerable. Deadly precautions. One final chilling reminder. Never, under any circumstances, use gas stoves, charcoal grills, or kerosene heaters indoors. These can quickly accumulate lethal levels of carbon monoxide, the invisible, odorless gas that kills without warning. If you don't heed this warning, you won't wake up to see the sunrise. Conquering the heat beast. While the cold terrorizes in silence, extreme heat hits like a loud, oppressive force, draining your energy and searing your mind. Overheating can lead to heat stroke, which is every bit as fatal as hypothermia. Your best defense? Stay cool at any cost. Fortify your home against the sun. The battle against heat begins before it spirals out of control. During daytime hours, seal your home like a fortress. Close blinds, curtains, and windows to block out sunlight. If you have reflective foil or even aluminum from the kitchen, use it to bounce sunlight away from entry points. Towels stuffed under door cracks stop hot air from sneaking inside. Nighttime airflow tactics. When the sun sets, take advantage of the cooler night air. Open windows on opposite sides of your home to create cross-ventilation. A lifesaver in stagnant heat. A battery-powered or hand-crank fan can amplify this airflow. If you feel crafty, turn damp towels into mini evaporative coolers by hanging them in front of windows. It won't rival an air conditioner, but it might keep you alive. Stay wet, stay shaded, stay alive. Water is your survival ally during a heat wave. Use it in every way. Drink it constantly to stay hydrated, and use it physically to cool yourself down. Wet towels around your neck, sponge-down clothes, or even a quick splash can lower your core temperature. If you're lucky enough to have a basement, retreat there. Subterranean spaces are often significantly cooler. Deadly missteps in the heat. Just as with the cold, safety precautions are key. Don't overexert yourself. Physical activity will push your body into overdrive, accelerating dehydration and overheating. Shade is a necessity, not a luxury. If outdoors is your only option, make your own shade with tarps or blankets. You are fighting nature now. It doesn't care if you're unprepared. Survival Rule 5, staying connected and informed in the dark. When the lights go out, so does your easy link to the world. Communication is the lifeline that keeps you aware, prepared, and connected, becomes an immediate vulnerability. Without a clear strategy to stay informed during a blackout, you risk isolation in a sea of silence. Losing power is terrifying, but losing touch? That's what turns an inconvenience into a deadly crisis. Think of communication as your last shield. It arms you with knowledge, lets you call for help, and reassures that you're not alone. Ignoring this survival rule can leave you blind to danger, and the consequences are chilling. Radios? Your trusty link to the outside world. With smartphones, streaming, and 24/7 access to the internet, we've grown dependent on technology. But in a blackout, those luxuries are some of the first to fail. Cell towers go down, Wi-Fi vanishes, and just like that, your digital lifeline snaps. This is where the humble radio steps in. Forget flashy gadgets. Radios are the unsung heroes of survival. They work when nothing else does. A battery-powered or crank radio can tune you into local emergency networks, weather alerts, and official instructions. No cell signal? No problem. While the world crumbles into static, your radio keeps an ear to critical updates. And for an edge in a prolonged outage, invest in a hand crank radio. Unlike battery-dependent models that fizzle out when the juice runs dry, crank radios only need a little elbow grease to stay powered. A few rotations of the handle, and you're back in the game. Another underappreciated option? The car radio. It might seem old school, but if your vehicle has fuel, it's a surprisingly reliable asset. Your car can relay AM/FM stations, help you stay warm or cool momentarily, and even charge small devices in dire situations. Think of it as your roving command center for staying informed. Phones, a fragile yet vital tool. While radios dominate long-term scenarios, your phone could still save your life in a short-term blackout, if you plan ahead. Start with the basics. A portable solar charger can draw on dwindling daylight, while crank chargers provide backup power, even when the grid is nowhere to be seen. Seconds of cranking could turn into precious moments to send a text or make a life-saving call. Before disaster strikes, compile a printed emergency contact list, yes, paper. Because when your phone's battery dies or its memory glitches, no app will help you. This list should include personal contacts, local emergency services, utility companies, and even your neighborhood watch. Tape it inside your emergency kit or stash copies in waterproof bags. It seems old-fashioned, but paper doesn't power down. Ever. Once you've secured power and organized contacts, use your cell tactically. Save its precious battery by rationing usage. Enable airplane mode when you're not actively reaching out, and dim the screen as low as it'll go. Communication isn't about endless scrolling, it's about critical, brief updates. If you know this, you'll outlast others whose phones died hours ago from aimlessly refreshing their feeds. Backup devices, walkie-talkies, and satellites. For sustained survival, consider cutting-edge alternatives to your smartphone. Walkie-talkies aren't just relics of camping trips, they're game changers. These devices allow close-range communication without cellular networks. Maybe you need to check on relatives across the block or coordinate neighborhood efforts. Walkie-talkies keep you in touch while the silence swallows everything else. For those who want a survival trump card, satellite phones are unmatched. They bypass collapsing infrastructure entirely by connecting straight to orbiting satellites. Whether you're in a suburban blackout or stranded in the wilderness, satellite phones work where traditional systems fail. The catch? They're pricey. But in a survival scenario, their reliability outweighs the cost. Signals without technology. When everything fails, your phone, radio, even the sturdy walkie-talkie, you're not out of options. Sometimes, low-tech tools are your best friends. A whistle, for instance, can carry your call for help over miles of quiet terrain. Every household should have one within reach. 3 sharp blasts are universally recognized as a distress signal. It's the cheapest insurance you'll ever buy. If you're stuck outdoors or need to signal from a distance, flares or signal mirrors can save your life. Bright, unmistakable, and impossible to ignore, flares can catch the eye of passing aircraft or distant rescuers. Take time to familiarize yourself with their operation ahead of time. You won't want to be fumbling with matches and manuals when every second counts. Survival Rule 6: protecting health and hygiene in a crisis. When the power goes out, life can quickly become primitive. While food, water, and warmth get most of the attention, health and hygiene are just as critical. Neglecting these can turn your safe space into a breeding ground for disease. Poor sanitation and medical unpreparedness can make a bad situation catastrophic. Without proper planning, even a small infection or hygiene issue can become dangerous or deadly. Managing hygiene and waste. Blackouts mean no running water or functioning sewage systems, leaving you to manage trash, dirty dishes, and human waste. Without proper planning, these issues can lead to disease. Start by stockpiling heavy-duty trash bags. They're essential for waste like soiled diapers or toilet paper. Use a portable toilet, bucket, or makeshift setup lined with a bag. Neutralize odors with cat litter or sawdust, seal the bags tightly, and store them away from your living space. Unwashed dishes and surfaces also attract germs quickly. Keep antiseptic wipes, sanitizing sprays, and gloves for quick cleanups. If water isn't available, mix a small amount of bleach with water for cleaning surfaces. Safe drinking water. Water scarcity and contamination are serious threats during blackouts. Even if you've stockpiled water, it can run out or become unsafe. Boiling isn't always enough to neutralize toxins, so invest in emergency water filters like hand pump systems or filter straws. Keep a bottle of unscented household bleach on hand. It can purify water in an emergency. Just a few drops in a gallon of water can help. Be precise, as too much bleach can be harmful. Hygiene matters. Without a shower, hygiene can't be ignored. Poor hygiene leads to body odor, irritation, and infections that can quickly become dangerous. Stock up on unscented baby wipes or no-rinse body wash for cleaning. Focus on bacteria-prone areas like armpits, groin, and feet. Don't neglect dental hygiene. Baking soda or saltwater rinses can work if toothpaste isn't available. Disposable gloves are also essential for handling waste and messes. Pair them with soap and water or hand sanitizer to reduce risks. Medication and first aid. Blackouts are especially dangerous for those relying on refrigerated medications like insulin. Plan ahead with battery-powered medical coolers or thermos bottles with ice packs. Your first aid kit is just as critical. Stock up on fresh supplies like bandages, gauze, burn creams, and pain relievers like ibuprofen. Learn basic first aid, such as treating burns or recognizing dehydration, to handle emergencies effectively. With preparation and focus on hygiene, water, and medical needs, you can better protect yourself and your loved ones in a crisis. Survival Rule 7. Building resilience and resourcefulness for the long haul. When the power goes out, the first few hours feel like a challenge, a temporary inconvenience. But as the days drag into nights and the reality of a prolonged blackout sets in, the stakes increase exponentially. Without power, life becomes a slow, grinding test of endurance. Your supplies start to dwindle, your energy wanes, and the creeping shadow of despair sets in. It's not just about survival anymore, it's about staying strong when everything around you seems to defy your efforts. Rule 7 is the unsung hero of survival, building resilience and resourcefulness to outlast the darkness, the danger of depleting resources. Most people underestimate how quickly they consume essentials. If you haven't prepared, rationing becomes a cruel wake-up call when you realize just how finite your food, water, and batteries truly are. Hunger gnaws at your stomach, thirst parches your throat, and the fear of running out infiltrates your every thought. The first step to resilience is control. Control over what you have and how you use it. Inventory your resources immediately after the power goes out. Count every can of food, every bottle of water, every battery, and every candle. Without this crucial step, you're flying blind and waste becomes inevitable. From there, create a strict rationing plan. Assume that the outage will last far longer than you'd like to imagine. Instead of consuming 3 meals a day, cut back to 2, and consider making one of them a very light snack. Drink water mindfully, not out of habit, and set cup or bottle limits for everyone in your household. Plan for every calorie, every ounce, and every minute of battery life to stretch dangerously thin. Stretch resources further with creativity. Overripe fruits can become juice. Scraps of vegetables can become broth. Use wood stoves or fire pits to conserve gas-powered appliances. The key to surviving isn't reinventing the wheel, it's squeezing every drop of utility out of what you already have. Guarding your morale against the void. A prolonged blackout doesn't just drain your supplies, it drains your spirit. The lack of comfort unbearable. Slowly, morale begins to crack. That crack can spread quickly, turning teammates or family members into isolated, fearful individuals. And in that void of hopelessness, survival becomes infinitely harder. This is the battle of the mind, and winning it starts with routine. Humans crave structure, especially in chaos. Establish clear roles and schedules for everyone in the household as soon as possible. Assign tasks, whether it's maintaining the heat zone, monitoring supplies, or handling hydration. Create moments of normalcy like shared meals or nightly discussions to remind everyone they're still a team. On top of routine, keep morale up with distractions. This sounds trivial, but boredom is a silent monster in survival scenarios. Stockpile entertainment options like decks of cards, puzzles, or simple games. Yes, these seem primitive compared to modern comforts, but in the vacuum of electricity, a pack of cards could mean the difference between a bad mood and total collapse. If you have kids, their morale should be near the top of your priority list. Turn the blackout into an adventure or game. They don't have the emotional tools to process the full weight of disaster. Keeping their spirits high will keep the entire group steady. Community equals survival. You may not survive long alone, not physically, not mentally. Building resilience involves looking outward as much as inward. When resources grow scarce and tensions rise, the single smartest move you can make is connecting with your community. This isn't just goodwill, it's strategy. Check on neighbors early and often. Many people won't admit they're struggling until it's too late. By pooling resources, sharing information, and supporting each other, your entire neighborhood becomes a more sustainable survival unit. But don't just focus on take-give when you can. Lend a tool, offer advice, or simply check in. This generosity has a funny way of coming back around when you need it most. Extending resources into the unknown. Long-term blackouts force you into survival mode, and resourcefulness is your lifeblood. When supplies dwindle, shift your mindset from consumption to replenishment. Begin harvesting rainwater if your stash is low. Learn simple repairs to mend clothing or tools. Cook over fires instead of consuming precious propane. And finally, always be mentally prepared for the worst. This doesn't mean panicking, it means strategizing. Have a backup plan for evacuating, routes mapped out, and an emergency pack ready. Hope for the best, but always prepare for the possibility that the outage isn't ending anytime soon. Resilience wins the war. The darkness has no mercy. It doesn't care about your comfort, your morale, or your survival. The key is to become tougher than the void. By building resilience, both in resources and within your spirit, you move beyond survival mode into an unshakable position of strength. When the lights fail you for days, weeks, or longer, resilience becomes your most powerful ally, and Rule 7 ensures you stay alive.